What is something most people don't realize is a privilege?
Running water 24/7 and most of 365 days. Stable electricity, the kind that doesn't shoot light bulbs out of their sockets. Sane traffic patterns. Mostly clean fresh air. Stocked shelves in the supermarket. To have people around who can and will help.
This has impacted me in so many ways. I didn't qualify for enough in student loans, government assistance, because it was just assumed my parents were giving me hundreds a month in assistance, so that imaginary amount was deducted from my benefits.
Being able to just quit a job you don't like.
This tends to be a bit of a hit in the face for military folks, I've noticed. The inability to just say, "F this, I'm done," putting in my 2 weeks, tends to cause a lot of turmoil for younger guys that are new in the military.
Having two good parents. Adding to that, a stable and safe home life. Now that I'm an adult, I realized how lucky I was to have parents who were good and loving but also prioritized a safe, stable, calm home environment. They actually thought about creating a warm, safe environment, and I didn't know that was a thing you had to consciously do until I got to adulthood. They never fought in front of us, rarely lost their tempers with us, stuck to a routine and structure to where there were always hot meals, clean clothes, a clean home, and they let us have our own space to just relax and decompress. I noticed in my teen years that certain friends always wanted to come to my house to hang out, which I thought was weird because my house was kinda boring, but now looking back I can see that they liked the safe, calm atmosphere at my house and wanted to come relax. My parents consciously chose to make our home a safe retreat from the world, and I'm so grateful. I've met so many people over the years who never had the ability to relax at home, ranging from just really active schedules where they were shuffled from activity to activity and rest and relaxation wasn't prioritized, to people who had really turbulent, abusive homes, and now as adults they have a really hard time relaxing or cultivating a recharging atmosphere at home. I literally had to lay out some steps for my friend of things you can do to make your home more comfortable and relaxing because they just didn't know how to do it. And #X200B. Edit. Wow, so many responses. I appreciate everyone chiming in, and to those who said they wished for a home like mine, I'm sorry you didn't get it growing up. Although I think I was privileged to have my home life, I do think everyone deserves a stable and safe home. I hope you can find a way to give yourself everything you needed as a kid now as an adult. Many people asked what the steps were I shared with my friend. I've made a list of those and a few other thoughts I had. Keep in mind, these were my tips about creating a nurturing environment for yourself at home. I'm not a parent, so I'm in no position to dole out parenting advice, but I have added a few things my parents did that when I look back I can see were highly beneficial. Sorry, it's going to be long, but I really wanted to share as much of my perspective as I could for those who didn't get to experience this firsthand. I'm sure there are a bunch of other things I'm forgetting, but these are kinda the big differences I saw between my house and others. Please feel free to send me a message if you have more questions. 1. This might be obvious, but I was surprised to find wasn't for some people. Decorate your home with things you actually like. Don't worry about trends or what others think is cool. If Disney makes you feel happy, make your home a Disney paradise. You deserve to find your space happy and inspiring to you. If your home is full of things you like, you'll want to be there. Also, get yourself some cozy throw blankets and nice candles. Hang curtains, even if they're not expensive. The small creature comforts, although not absolutely necessary for staying alive, will make your environment feel nesty and cozy. 2. Keep your home tidy and organized to the point that it's comfy and functional, but not to the point that it's another area of stress. Despite my awesome home life, my mum was extremely clean and I have ADHD and am just naturally a bit messier. I struggled with guilt about it and beating myself up for not being able to keep up the way she did. Finally, over the last few years I realized I was making things stressful for myself in my own home when I didn't need to at all. Keeping it clean and safe is important, but just do enough to make it feel cared for. Remember, your home is there to serve you, not be a showroom. 3. Dim lights in the evenings, light candles, play peaceful music. Also great if you have kids. My mum helped us wind down in the evenings by adjusting the atmosphere. She'd turn down a lot of the lights, start the dishwasher, which kinda signified the end of the day, play some chill music, turned off TV time, and we moved on to quiet activities like reading, coloring, etc. It eased us into bedtime in a way that felt natural and not like an abrupt end to the day. I've started to do this as an adult and it makes things peaceful. 4. Use the good stuff. Don't buy things you like and then be afraid to use them. Things are meant to be used and to serve you. Use the nice dishes, the nice soaps, the fancy pillows. You're deserving of that. Here are some things that are helpful, especially if you have kids. 5. Routine. Kids seriously thrive with routine. At the time I wasn't aware, but looking back I can see how much the routine made us feel secure growing up. We woke up at the same times, ate at the same times. I always knew there was going to be dinner at 5:30 p.m. Even if things got shifted sometimes, the consistency of our normal routine left me secure that I would be provided for. My mum was always there after school, and if she wasn't for some reason, there was a note, pre-cell phones, letting us know exactly where she was and when she'd be back. I knew the rules and what to expect if I broke them, too. They were consistent. Not knowing what is going to happen creates a huge amount of anxiety in kids. This is also important for you as an adult if you're reparenting yourself. Routines are tough for me as someone with ADHD, but they're also a lifesaver. 6. Sort of built off routines. My mum had a calendar in our kitchen that had all our appointments and obligations on it. It's sort of the command center. We could always check it and see what was going on that day, per week, per month. It also provided some security. I know things are mostly digital these days, so maybe a shared Google Calendar would work better. But I always liked the paper calendar hanging up in the kitchen. 7. Here's a big one: let your kids, and yourself for that matter, have a safe space to express all emotions. One of the biggest things I've noticed among friends who grew up to hate their home life was that they were punished for normal emotions. We were allowed to get mad, sad, whatever. There was a line of respect you didn't cross, but just having emotions in and of themselves wasn't seen as disrespectful or something to be punished. When I was a little twat teenager, my mum and I would fight and I'd storm off to my room and they let me. They'd give me time to cool off and then my dad would come calmly talk to me about it. If I had done something that crossed a boundary, like insult them or say something disrespectful, I had to apologize for that, but not for experiencing emotions. A child won't grow up to learn emotional regulation if you don't let them experience any emotions. 8. We had rules about how we could treat each other, and one of them was that name-calling wasn't allowed in our house. You can get angry with people and call them out on their behavior, but when you cross a line into character accusations, you've entered into a non-productive, damaging territory. In hindsight, I understand that this is the basic idea of nonviolent communication, where you're addressing a person's behavior, which is changeable, and its impact on you, not attacking their fundamental character. 9. Prioritizing mental well-being and rest. My mum was light years ahead on this one. She let us have mental health days back before the term mental health was even in the general discourse. If we woke up one day and just weren't feeling it, she'd let us take a day off school. I remember telling a teacher that I'd been absent because I needed a mental health day, and she had a look of utter disbelief and confusion. I was confused, like, don't you ever just feel mentally tired? I stopped mentioning it because people got downright angry at the idea that someone might need to electively take a day off a few times a year. Thankfully the mindset on this is changing. Everyone gets burned out sometimes or just can't emotionally or mentally deal with poo, even kids. Being allowed to take time when I needed it was really validating and helped me learn how to regulate myself and listen to my own internal cues. 10. This one is simple: we got to decorate our rooms. My mum was a great decorator and our house was always very nice looking, but she let us do what we wanted to our rooms. She understood that having a space that reflects you and what you like makes you feel good. 11. Food. The kitchen was never off limits. In general, it was our house, not my parents' house that I got to live in, so the idea of anything being off limits is so strange to me. I know this might not be easy for people with tight budgets, but if possible, maybe have a food basket or drawer that is designated for anytime snacking so food anxiety isn't an issue. 12. I always knew my parents were in my corner. I knew I could call them when I needed help even if I'd done something bad. I knew I could trust them to have my best interests in mind, and I knew that when push came to shove, I had them backing me up. I had so many friends who couldn't trust their parents to treat them respectfully or with any sort of grace, and so they became excellent liars. I never lied to my parents because there was no reason to, not that they let me do everything I wanted, but because I knew they'd be reasonable and fair and hear me out. Knowing you've got support is probably the most fundamental act of stability I can think of. Edit 2, also wanted to add that others have commented and shared other great tips as well. Please scroll through this whole comment thread and check those out too, lots of nice encouraging posts here.
Health.
Not being in pain.
Libraries. I think a lot of people who have access to a public library don't appreciate how much of a privilege that is.
Education.
Privacy. I don't mean digital privacy. I mean a room with solid walls and a door that closes. Lots of people don't have that.
The apartments I work at are filled with people subleasing. I've walked apartments where the bedrooms have 6 people sleeping there. If they're lucky they get to sleep in a closet or at least have a curtain covering.
Feeling safe in your own home. Not worrying about rats, mice, roaches, bedbugs, bricks being thrown through windows, violence outside, break-ins.
I had bed bugs once. It was awful. Yeah, they don't do any physical harm unless you're allergic, but they have a massive effect on you mentally. You never feel like you're not being eaten in your sleep. I can't see the bedroom the same way anymore. I can't relax in my own bed.
Having a house, or having parents who love and support you, or a childhood home to visit.
I had this until I lost my mum to cancer a couple of years ago. I'm in my 20s. Dad remarried and moved to a different house. I still can't believe how perfect it all was before the cancer. Also, Dad's new wife is the worst, so it's hard to be around even him at this point.
The ability to buy a drink or snack outside on the spur of the moment, without thinking about how it would impact your ability to pay for utilities, rent, groceries, essentials.
As someone that at one point of their life had a full-time job and had to donate plasma just to pay rent, bills, and have something in my stomach, this hits hard. I'm no longer living in that situation. Thank God.
I can't emphasize enough the euphoria I felt after I had just finished purchasing some Starbucks sandwiches and drinks for my family without thought, for no reason other than it was a nice day out, and realized that constant weight of worry and anxiety about money was no longer so forefront. I'm very happy to hear you too have reached that point as well. It's definitely not something to take for granted.
Spontaneity in your daily plans. If you're a wheelchair user, that's virtually impossible. So few places have accessible restrooms, some public transport needs contact *24 hours in advance * in order to accommodate you, the list goes on. I envy people who can just go with the flow.
Uninterrupted power supply.
Hard agree. Whenever there is a major thunderstorm in my area, I always think, please don't let the power go out. Losing power anytime sucks, but especially now when it's 90+ degrees F or 32+ degrees Celsius and 80% humidity.
Having a vehicle.
Driving in general basically.
Having access to water and a sewage system. Also, the abundance of food in Western supermarkets is quite frankly insane. Every day I try and spend a moment to reflect on how lucky I am.
Came here to say the same. Clean drinking water. From the tap. In the house.
Having people assume you are telling the truth.
So true. If I call out sick from my current job, my boss says, okay, feel better. At toxic old job, I'd get a guilt trip in the 3rd degree. TOJ also had us on timers for every single activity because they did not believe we would do our work without them. We were also forced to come into the office on Saturdays because they didn't believe we could handle working from home. No matter what you did or how well you performed, they always believed you were lying to get out of work somehow. It was stressful trying to constantly prove myself and manage their paranoia.
Going about your daily life without seriously worrying about your physical safety. Sleeping at night without worrying about whether a bomb is going to come through your roof.
Yeah, walking home at night and actually enjoying it, not worrying and looking behind your back. This is a big one. Criticizing your own government.
More and more countries are banning protests. Hell. Just last week, an Australian journalist was locked up by a politician's counter-terrorism goon squad. Sanitary products for women. It's different in different parts of the world plus economic backgrounds.
Not to mention access to birth control.
I'm glad therapy is becoming less stigmatized, but that everyone should go to therapy crowd acts like it's free.
Absolutely. I am a therapist, and the more common thought that everyone should go to therapy to get fixed is just insane. Therapy is not for everyone, and there are so many different types and approaches to therapy, it's not a catch-all solution. I have seen more and more, I don't really want to be here, but my insert person in life told me I should. You're going to get as much out of therapy as you put into it.
Being able-bodied. So many people are one accident away from being unemployed and don't realize that. Your job will ruin your body, be aware and fight it.
Not having chronic pain.
I'm in this picture and I don't like it. God, I just want to have no pain for like 5 minutes.
**** easy access to food. ***. So many people go hungry for a variety of reasons, from the food just isn't there to drought to lack of money. If there was an embargo and food could not get to the stores, there would be a huge freakout. For those who deal with it all the time, not a big deal.
Learning how to swim. Still surprises me, lots of people never knew how to swim, which is basic skill for most. It may save your life someday.
In Alberta, and apparently several other provinces, it's actually part of the school gym curriculum. So most people aren't great swimmers, but they are still passable.
Air conditioning. Television. The internet. Flushing toilets. Hot and cold running water. Heat. 4 walls and a roof. Being able to sleep on a bed. Peace and quiet. The ability to sleep without doing that on edge, hyper alert half sleep. Having 2 to 3 really good friends you can tell anything to. The ability to read. It's the closest to witchcraft we have. Imagine having a paper-based product that contains the answers to many questions in the formula for improving your life. Then imagine being able to teach people the mysteries within. Then imagine being able to copy it, or pass it on so others can do the same.
I didn't know that people's parents give their kids cars like for their 16th birthday or for passing the driver's test. Completely blew my mind. Edit. For clarification, anyone who saved or earned their car, you don't apply to this.
I considered myself lucky that my sister and I got to share a crappy, '99 Dodge Neon, because I was lucky to have a car at all and many of my classmates didn't. Then I went to college and met my now boyfriend, whose parents are very well off and generous people, and found out his parents bought him a brand new car at 16. It was just a Nissan Versa, but still. I was mind-blown. Though their investment did pay off because we still drive that car 12 years later.
Having an air-conditioned home. Edit. If you're reading this, don't scroll past the replies on this comment. Some of these stories are well worth a read.
In the UK, only businesses and public spaces have a C. Never seen a house with one ever. Worst is that it's not as if we have tropical nights all the time. Most nights, even in heatwaves, are a comfortable temperature, but these houses heat up like a tin can, and the time it takes to cool down again is the time it takes for the sun to come back up.
Having the ability to express an opinion. Free speech is very censored in a lot of the world.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.